We are going to look at what represents a complex number in a complex plane. So we're going to be given a point, not giving a point. I'm not giving you a point. We'll be given a point, and then we're going to have to graph it on the complex plane. Well, the complex plane looks just like our x, y, except in this case, we have the real axes, which is represented by the x-axis. This is going to be the real part of your number, and then you have the complex, or the imaginary part, sorry, and both of them together make up the complex number. So the complex plane has two axes, like the coordinate plane. The horizontal axis is called the real axis, and this is for the real part of the complex number, and the vertical axis is called the imaginary axis, and this is for the imaginary part of the number. So if I'm given a number, let's say I'm given the number 5 minus 3i, and we have a complex number here because we have both a real part and an imaginary part. So the real part here falls on the value 5. Each one of these boxes is going to represent a 1 by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a different color here. Oh, actually, let me go back a little bit and get a different color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the real part. And then the negative 3i, we're going to go down on 3 on the imaginary. 1, 2, 3. And now, so let me put a 5 here so I get to note this is negative 3. And now we look to see that we have the point 5, negative 3, which corresponds to this value. This right here is 5 minus 3i, or the point 5 comma negative 3, where this piece is the real and this piece is the imaginary. It's not too complicated. And I have to erase this guy over here. Oh, that's on a different layer. All right, so the next one we're going to look at, we want to graph negative 6 plus 2i. And we want to graph negative 6 minus 2i. And we want to see their relationship. How are these two related to each other? Well, I'm going to do the real part. So this one I'm going to do in this pink. And I believe this one I'm going to do in this like blue. I still did not choose the right pink. All right. So going to our graph, we're going to go back 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go up 2 units. 1, 2. This right here is negative 6 plus 2i. 6 and negative 6 in the real, 2 in the imaginary. Okay, now I'm going to do the negative 6 again in the real, but I'm going to go down 2 for this negative, and that's an I, by the way. So I'm going to go down to 1, 2. And this right here is negative 6 minus 2i. And negative 6 plus 2i with negative 6 minus 2i. The two numbers are both complex conjugates. On the complex plane, the complex conjugates are imaginary of each, are an image of each other reflected over the real axes. So this is basically like if you got a person here and you put a body of water here, you'd see a reflection down here. So this is, the pink is just a reflection of the blue, and the blue is just a reflection of the pink. All right, so there you have it. There is the representation of numbers in the complex plane. Not very complex, even though these are complex numbers. And the only reason they're complex numbers is because they have both a real component to them and an imaginary component to them. And when we graph these, we graph them as points on the real imaginary coordinate plane. All right, guys, so if you have any numbers, if you have any questions, always feel free to ask, and I will see you in the next video.